I have been a writer for nearly 2 decades, and for the first time ever, I am planning to publish some of my works. But before I do, I would like to write a story with all of you. And this is the prologue to that story. I inhaled, and the world as I knew it ended.
My gift, a modest whisper of insight that had been a silent companion, no more intrusive than my shadow, betrayed me. There was a familiar wobble in my vision as I waited for the subtle flash of intuition. Instead, my vision exploded in a way it never had before. The room around me, with its familiar shadows and the gentle hum of the night, faded. I was adrift, suspended in a void where all things seemed to writhe in agony. Images cascaded before me, people and places I had never seen. Everything was dark and silhouetted while being drenched in blinding light. Shadowy forms swirled all around me, not with the grace of living things, but with the erratic, jerky movements of marionettes. Their shapes were that of living things, some human, others not, but their faces were smudges in the darkness, and they moved with an unnatural sharpness. Hands stained black, a burning heart, a soft green glow before the entrance to a massive grove of ancient trees like I had never seen before. These figures followed the center of my line of sight, stretching unnaturally through other forms, blooming and disintegrating over and over. Flames licked the edges of my consciousness, not with warmth but with a cold malevolence. They consumed not wood or flesh, but ate at the world itself, leaving behind a void where things did not grow. The ground underfoot, unseen yet palpably real, heaved and split with the agony of a living creature mortally wounded. From these fissures, despair seeped out like tendrils trying to pull at me into this abyss that my eyes created. And through the chaos, a light, a beacon in the tumultuous sea of my visions. It flickered warmly in the distance. It felt hopeful, but could not shake the air of foreboding in the surrounding darkness. Around it, elements clashed in a cacophony of discord, water that scorched, a wind that whispered secrets meant to be forgotten, and earth that defied feet and flowed like an ocean of stone and ore. At the heart of the maelstrom, an eye opened. Ancient beyond measure, it regarded me with an unfathomable sorrow and knowledge. In its gaze, I saw the cycles of ages, the rise and fall of empires, and the unspoken pact between the earth and the stars. This ancient eye was a sentinel bearing witness to creation and destruction, and at this moment, it saw me. I saw myself reflected in its eye, the only face I could see clearly. The vision shattered, leaving me gasping for air in the silent darkness of my room. Sweat stuck my hair to my forehead, and my hands shook with the rapid beating of my heart, born of overwhelming terror. What had I seen? Prophecy? A warning? Or the mad imaginings of a mind suddenly broken like an unskilled orator singing ancient songs? I knew only one thing with certainty. I could not make sense of this on my own. Yet who would believe what I had seen? Do I even know what I saw? Who could help me understand these mad images and vague notions? As I sat and pondered the many professors and instructors of Elderglen, none evoked a sense of confidence. The only shred of trust I held was for the man who took my charge when my ward was purchased by the academy. As the first light of dawn crept timidly through my window, painting the world in hues of gold and casting long shadows in between, my hands still shook. Master Elias is the only teacher here who may be able to help. The rest of these haughty military instructors have no love for an orphaned ward. I will go and see him as soon as my heart slows. My first breath in the cold air of the study quarter tasted of copper. I stepped into the dawn, my steps on the cobblestones echoing through the walled yard. I could not shake the dread even as I approached Master Elias's study chamber. I pressed my hand to the old wooden door, the smooth lacquer over the rough wood uneven beneath my fingers. With another long metallic breath, I leaned into the great door, pushing it free of its morning frost, and the warmth of the study chamber flowed past me. And even as my skin felt the heat of the fire, my lungs still felt the cold copper still on my tongue as I met Master Elias's gaze. His obligatory smile held no comfort. He waved for me to come in and closed the door. As my eyes flashed again, the world wobbled once more.
This is the prologue. This story will follow 5 characters. You will choose one of these 5, and that is the story you and I will tell together. I will name them here, and then I will leave their names down below. The most liked comment will be the character's story you and I tell. Silas Thorneill, the reluctant healer. Silas Thorneill grew up in a remote village, deeply entrenched in the traditions of herbalism and the natural healing passed down through generations. Despite his innate healing abilities, Silas harbors a deep-seated reluctance to embrace his gift fully, yearning instead for a simpler life away from the responsibilities his powers entail. His compassion, however, often overrides his desire for solitude, compelling him to aid those in need. Rorik Tilrain, the exiled noble. Descendant of a prestigious lineage, Rorik Tilrain's family has long been respected in the Central Kingdom's districts for their contributions to agriculture through ancient magical tools. However, Rorik's life takes a dramatic turn when he is falsely accused of crimes against the state, leading to his exile and the confiscation of his family's wealth. Of these poor souls, which fates will you take into your hand, and we shall tell together? Let me know down below. And all of the others will have their story told somewhere else. Until next time, stay bloodthirsty, my friends.